Hey, will somebody let me know if they can hear me? Hey guys, how's it going? Okay, good deal. I think I'll just sit here and look good till some people show up. I don't have anything to say. I was just bored today. I was working on a video. Thought I'd jump in here with my protective gear on. And so I'm protecting my face and my nose and I don't want any corona to get in my beard. My eye, I've got eye protection on. I don't have ear protection. My ears will just have to do it on their own. I have, I can't see with these sunglasses on because I need protective eyewear. I think it says hand sanitizer for men. I didn't know they made it for men and women. Let me put a little bit of that on my ear. Protect my neck. I don't have anything to say. I was bored. Just thought I'd get on and see what you guys are up to. I gotta get all this stuff off. Woo! It's driving me crazy. Maybe I should leave the mask on. Hey, my wife made this for me. She's making this for the nursing home down the road where her mother was, and she made me one that was gray. And I told her, I said, I need something with a little color to it. I can't wear that around town. So she made me this one. She's got about 50 of them in there. I'm going to look over here at the comments in a minute. So what's going on with everybody on Easter? There I am. I have nothing to say. I have no reason that I'm doing this other than I'm sitting here thinking I haven't done a live thing in a couple of months. I thought I'd just get on. I never announce it. It's just always a whim. Because honestly, I don't really like doing these, but they're kind of fun. It's like every once in a while, you have to jump off the diving board. You have to do something you don't want to do just to stay out there, just to stay out there. Critically essential. I know there's a way to slow this down. Let me see. Let me see if I can slow these comments down. Maybe I can just scroll back up. All right, I'm just going to scroll down and just fishing tactics was the first comment. They're first. Captain Whiplash, hey, not much going on, man. It's raining. It's Easter. Love in the time of Corona. Frank Lambert, hey, man. Pepper, NC, North Carolina. Mickey Miser, Brooklyn, New York. What's up, you guys? Do I have the accent right? I'm scrolling down through the comments here. You're robbing a bank. Nope. Kind of wish I had somebody on with me so I could talk. You just get to sit here and watch me do nothing. I wouldn't watch it. All right, let me scroll down here. Oh, I saw Memphis somewhere. Where did I see somebody say something about Memphis? Hey, you guys notice I figured out how, all right, I'll tell you this. I've done 2, maybe 3 live shows, and I don't know why I do them. Just like I said a minute ago, just to do something kind of fun. It's kind of fun, but I had enacted super chat. Super chat is the mode you get in on YouTube where people can donate to your to your I don't know, care package fund or whatever. And I didn't want people donating. And every time somebody would donate, I'd go, no, I don't want your money. And I was, man, I mean it. So I figured out how that was happening. It's a feature on Super Chat. So I disable Super Chat so nobody can drop any money in here. Nobody can. I was watching one of Buckeye Bigfoot's videos about a month ago, and she had said something about Dixie cryptid, and I was just going to leave a comment and say thank you. And right under that comment, somebody on her page was really just ripping me. It was like, he's such an a-hole and he's a blah, blah, blah and all this. And I was trying to figure out what he was talking about. Why would they think I was that way? Because I try to be nice to everybody. And he said that he had tried to give money. He gave $5 or something in a super chat. And I told everybody, that's not why I'm doing this. Don't do that. And he was really insulted that I didn't take his money. Well, I did take his money. You can't give it back. But I was trying to get people not to do it. And man, he just ripped me in that comment. And so I left my email address in the comment. If he wants to send me, I'd love a good down payment on a Harley. If he wants to contribute, he can just send me a check. There's a P.O. box on my channel, and just send me a big old check, man. But anyhow, that's enough of I may have to answer some, no, that's an email. Yep, don't have to answer that. I'm going to put this on. I know this is unprofessional. I know it. This wasn't even planned. I may not even let this go up as a video, but all right, let's see. Let me see if I can read some of these. I'm not being rude. There really are a lot. I don't, it's hard to keep up with them. So I apologize. Let's see. Sweetheart asked, do I have anything from the UK? I'll look. I have several stories to do. I have several to do. And sweetheart, if I find one, I'll do one in the next video. I was working on a video and I just got burnt out just for the moment. And I thought, I'll just go live. I'll just do a live thing. Don't delete us. Oh, don't AFK. What does AFK mean? I sent you an email this morning. Let me see what you, I don't think that was you. Yes, it is you. Okay. All right. I'll get back with you. I'll get back with you in an email here pretty quick sometime this afternoon. We'll set up a time to do an interview. See, Jim says, I have a great black triangle story. If you'd like to hear it, I'll email it to you. Fantastic. Jim, that would be great. Hey, from NEA, Northeast Arkansas, I assume. I have 2 kids who live in Jonesboro, and the tornado that hit Jonesboro a couple of weeks ago, they live about 10, maybe 6 or 7 miles apart. And that tornado just split right between their houses. My daughter lives over by the Jeep Chrysler Dodge dealership, kind of behind there off of Stadium. and my son lives over by Valley View. And that tornado just went right between them. They could both see it from their homes. It's a giant. I've not seen what the F number was on that tornado, but I bet it was a 4 or 5. Man, it tore that place up. And I was talking to somebody today. Northeast Arkansas is this vast delta. It's flat as a pancake, just the northeast quarter of Arkansas. Well, really the whole eastern side of Arkansas. You have to go almost halfway across the state from the east to the west to get into the mountains, the Ozark Mountains, and I think there's another mountain range there. I can't remember. It's the mountain range down by Little Rock. Anyway, you have to go halfway through across the state. Well, there's this vast area of just flat, nothing, farmlands, rice fields, bean fields. And that tornado sat down right in that little dot of Jonesboro, Arkansas. Now, Jonesboro is a big town, probably 60,000 people now. When I lived there, there was like 25. It had grown to about 40 or 50 when I left, but it's unbelievable. Yeah, we got weather coming up through here. It's pouring rain right now. Sherry Wells making you laugh. Hey, Rick Wells, Woodburger Farm. Did you get my text message today? I just sent you, or I called you, said your voicemail box was full. Brian Whalen from Dublin, Ireland. Loved the interview last night. When is the Colorado outfitter coming back? He's not coming back. I tried to set up, we had scheduled 4, maybe 5 different interviews with him. And I mean, they were locked in, time, all that stuff. And 4 times something came up, and I wouldn't hear back from him for a week or 2. Then I'd hear from him again. Hey, let's do another interview. We'd set up a time, and I don't know. He may just be busy. I don't know, but I just, and if I hear from him again, if he wants to do it, I'll give it another whirl. But I kind of got stood up several times on that, and I'm just not going to do it anymore. Nothing against him. I know he had stuff come up, but I can't spend my time chasing people down. If they don't want to do an interview, that's no problem. I'd love to get him on. He had some great stories, and he's a really nice guy. Really, really nice guy. And there was some other things going on there that he was texting me and talking to me about. I don't think I should share it unless I have his blessing to do that. But he's a good guy. He's probably a great hunter. And he's got some stuff going on his place. But I don't know what's happened since then. I'm trying to read through some of these. I'm horrible at these live things. I'm sorry. Man, 15 minutes and I ain't talked about nothing. All right, here's you all know or familiar with Bigfoot Odyssey. Carrie Arnold he's gotten over into narrating stories he's come across through his time on YouTube. Several really good stories from people. And he and I talked about it a year ago. And I told him, I said, man, you got a great voice. Okay, Rick. All right, buddy, I got you. All right, Rick, no problem. But call me this week sometime, Rick. I want to talk to you about a couple things. But I was encouraging Carrie to do it because Carrie is he's just good. He's good at that stuff. And so I encouraged him to do it. Well, I kind of feel like he didn't want to get in my yard you know, but, and what I mean by that, he didn't want to do something that I was doing, because he and I had become, and I've never seen his face in person, but he and I talk like we're brothers on the, it's like we've known each other for 20 years, but he's just a good guy. And so he called me the other day and he said, I think I'm finally going to do it. And I said, man, I told you to do it a year ago. You should do it. Did y'all hear that thunder? If I can remember to, I'll link it after I post this, but it's called the Shudder, Shudder. And he's telling not just Bigfoot stories. He's telling all kind of stuff. He didn't want to lock himself into one genre, you know, which the name of my channel is, yeah, Carrie, yeah, Carrie's a weirdo. I have a cryptid channel, but I'll do anything. I'm like Bruce Hornsby. I'll try anything once, but so we've done all kind of stories and stuff because I like them. I just, you know, it doesn't have to be about Bigfoot. I had 2 or 3 people on that last video. Dave, the man that y'all know, I interviewed him a couple of weeks ago, and it just took me that long to edit that discussion. It takes a long time to do the interviews. You have to record it in multi-track. In other words, each voice has a track. You have to go through and edit all the noise and all my dogs back here and me breathing into the mic. I can never, when I'm talking to people, I'm always right here on the mic, and I don't know. I don't have a good presence, you know, in an interview. So I go through and I heal all those, me clearing my throat and stuff out so it's not distracting. So it takes a long time to do it. But anyway, I did that interview and I posted that video yesterday. And let me tell you, Dave, so many people commented that he was the guy that you would just love to sit across from a table or around a campfire and just listen to him talk. That's right. Me too. He lives down in Florida. He lives way down there in Florida. But I think, okay, Rick, thanks, buddy. Give me a call this week. And yeah, he's just a great guy. I love the guy. I've done 2 of his stories. One was the Fae, which was on the end screen, and another, I couldn't find the video that it was in. I originally did it on Facebook. When I was trying to do videos on Facebook. Hey, Thunderbolt, I love Chunk too. He's inside. All my dogs are inside because if I brought them out here, they're crazy. They're just crazy. So I'm letting my wife deal with them. But forgot what I was saying. Man, I can never keep a line of thought. I'm totally blank on what I was saying. Yeah, Tex and I know there's storms coming this way. We've got a website here in North Mississippi. They have a presence on Facebook, and whenever there's a bunch of storms coming in, they put out this thing on Facebook that's storms coming through, high probability of tornadoes, blah, blah. They scare everybody to death the day before. And then the next day, there's nothing. I was getting all kind of warnings on my phone yesterday and stuff like that about today. Today, nothing. It's just a wind advisory. There's no tornado warnings, nothing. So I don't really know what's going on. But I don't think it's supposed to be here until maybe 2 or 3 hours. We'll just deal with it when it comes. I'm going to look at the radar now, see what it looks like. Woo, that's a big system, but I don't see anything red. I don't see anything horrible coming our way. So anyway, Carrie Carrie has that channel. It's called the Shudder, Shudder. And I know he would appreciate you guys coming and listening to some of his stories. Some of them are about Bigfoot. And I know there's people that follow this Bigfoot thing and they only want to hear about Bigfoot. That's all they want to hear about. But I do different stuff. I do 95% Bigfoot, but I'd like to do other stuff every once in a while. So, okay, I'm going to read some comments. I'm sorry, I'm just blabbering. Shauna, cover your hands. I don't read very fast. Where does Bigfoot hang out during storms? Good question. Oh, Miss June Bennett, thank you for sharing that. They had never heard the story. It may be the first time Dave had written it down and shared it with anybody. That could be the case. Let me see if I can find Carrie's new channel and I'll see if I can link it in this comment section. Now I'll have to go to my, I know this is boring, but I really want to, I think it's the Shudder. Yeah. Yeah. Let me see if I can link it in the comments here. I don't know if it's going to come up. There it is. That link right there, you'll see it kind of scrolling by on the comment screen. That's Carrie's new channel. And y'all go if you want to. You know, I love cross promoting, and Carrie already has a presence. He really doesn't need my help, but I love the guy, and I wanted to tell you about it. And plus, you all like stories, so it's a good deal. Bomber, did I not send you those? Send it to me again, man. If you'll send it to me again, I'll get them out by Wednesday. Unless I can search for your email under Bomber. If you'll send it again, I'll get you a handful of stickers out. I sure will. Thanks, Mr. Cliff. Tell us a story. You know, I'm so horrible at being an oral live storyteller. There's a channel that I stumbled on about 3 weeks ago. I think it's called Calum. His name is Calum Lycans. I can't find it right now. Let me see what I can do. Nah, I can't find it. Anyway, he's a man from Scotland, and he's a good storyteller, and he's done all kind of things in his life. He's been in retail. He'll tell you about it all on his channel, but he's from Scotland. He's got that really thick Scottish accent. And I've actually contacted him hoping I invited him to collaborate and do a couple of stories of his own stories to put on my channel in a video to help promote his channel, which is a good channel. But there are different, how would I say it? There are storytellers like me. I just read them and then I take the audio file and I edit it to where it sounds perfect like I read it perfectly. I don't read these perfectly. And then, people put those out. It's like an audio book. That's what we do. The people that narrate stories, they're just little audio books is what they are. James Mason, no, she's quit doing that. She just did that for a couple of weeks. He's asking if my dog is right out here behind my office. My house is way down that way. She'll run all the way back. She would run all the way back here to my office and just sit. She would sit. There's a little swell back there. And on the other side of it, it comes up high. And we got a swell cut down through there for water to run off this way down into the creek. And she'll sit right up on that, the edge of that swell, and she'll just sit there in the dark and just stare out in the woods. But she quit doing that maybe 2 or 3 weeks after I said it. I never got a chance to video that. But if she does it again and I have my camera handy, I'll do that. Brian Smith, yes, she is. Buckeye Bigfoot is a good she is a great channel. Yeah, I'm from Memphis, and no, I'm not a fan of Elvis Presley, although he's a great entertainer. I grew up there. It's like we would see him when I was a kid. We'd see him around town. It's not like a huge deal, but I understand that it's for fun. So what was I talking about? Calum Lycans. And so I do the narrated, recorded stories that are polished up and edited, but these guys are storytellers and they do it live, and it's a craft that they really practice. It's almost like singing. You have to practice a song and stuff. They practice telling stories. And I thought, that sounds interesting. And so in my last video, I told a story about my grandfather who checked a paper and told me that I write well, and that about a test that I took for a company I was working for, and they told me I wrote good. And I've since trimmed that out of the video, because whenever you do that in a video, anybody else out there doing YouTube, people don't want to hear about you. They do not want to hear about you. They just want you to do the content. And I know there's some people that enjoy hearing that stuff, but for the most part, if you're going to be competitive on YouTube, leave that stuff out. Just get right to the story and do it. And so I trimmed that out, and we can see it in our analytics. So at the beginning, I said, if you don't want to listen to this intro, go to the 6 whatever mark, and you can see it dip from the beginning, and then it comes right back up at that timestamp. So people don't want to hear that. I mean, and you have to look at it from that perspective as a YouTuber. But what I was doing is trying to practice just off the cuff telling a story about myself. And I knew if I could tell one about myself, I would remember everything and it would be easy to tell. So I'd like to get good. And this all goes back to somebody here asking me to tell a story. And I mean, I have a couple about me that I could probably do pretty well, but y'all probably don't want to hear it. But it's a live video. Nobody watches these anyway. So I don't know. Maybe I'll tell one. Something was on my mind to talk to you about a minute ago. I'm going to put that link back in a comment for Carrie Arnold's channel. If you guys are interested, there it is right there. Okay, Robert Garsk, did you ever figure out why your chickens are not laying as many eggs as chickens you have? Bigfoot taking your eggs? No, Bigfoot was not taking my eggs. the eggs are inside the box and the box is always locked up. And as soon as we started getting more daylight, I had a solar powered light in there for them at night. The thing with chickens, if they get knocked off a roost or something at night and they get all crowded, they pack on the roost and they get close to each other, and then there'll be 4 feet of roost where nobody's sitting. I don't know why they do that, but they get close and they'll knock each other off. Well, once a hen gets knocked off a roost, if it's dark, she can't see. She'll just stay on the ground, and it really stresses them out. It because they're roosting at night is their defense mechanism. They get up above the predators. And so I had a solar powered light in there, and the battery had just worn out. I didn't realize it. So they had probably gone through 6 weeks of darkness, and I replaced that light. And then the days started getting a little longer. Since the time we talked about that, we probably got another hour and a half of daylight right now because spring has come. And we have more eggs than we know what to do with. During this Corona quarantine time, people are having trouble around here finding eggs at the grocery store. And I know if I went we have a refrigerator inside in our laundry room, and I bet you there's 10 dozen eggs in there, and we can't give them away. People won't take eggs from people they don't know. They won't take food from people they don't know. So I crack them, put them on the dog's food and stuff like that. And it's funny. You just can't get rid of them. And some people are weird about eating eggs from just a chicken. They want to buy them from the store. It's almost like they think they're manufactured or something. But these eggs that you can get locally from people who have hens that are laying, let me tell you, the taste is a lot different. It's a lot better, and they're clean, and these chickens aren't full of antibiotics and growth hormones, and the eggs are brown or blue or pink, or most of them are brown, several different shades of brown. But man, they're so good. They're really good. All right, there's somebody I want to. All right. So that's the deal about the eggs. So back to Calum Lycans. I would love to be able to tell a story, just tell a story really well, but I'm not good at it. Unless it's about me, unless it's something I can remember about myself. I don't know why I keep talking about that. Scramble and freeze them, crack them and freeze them. Yeah. Yeah, we just have so many. It's not like. All right. I know I've missed 100 comments. I apologize. Teresa Catlin. I would send them to Minnesota. Teresa, I would, because they just, and eventually they go bad. We throw them out in the woods, and I know the coons get them and possums and all. Michael Bird, tell us a story about your childhood. There's nothing exciting. Joshua, Chunk's doing fine. Chunk is my big yellow lab. He's 14 years old. The last week, he's real old and he has trouble getting around, but he's getting around. Every 2 or 3 months, something happens that lets me know he's getting older. So when I quit duck hunting him, retrievers live to retrieve. That's all they want to do. They want to go get things and bring them to you. That's their life. And the other thing Chunk likes is me petting him. That's his whole life, retrieving and me petting him. But I used to throw the Frisbee for him every morning and just wear him out, just get him tired. And he would sleep all day and he loved it. And in the summertime, I had a little kiddie pool and he would lay around in the kiddie pool for an hour. Then he would come in here and shake off and get water everywhere. But he hurt his hip. He hurt one of his hips. Now he doesn't have the hip problems that most labs do. He doesn't have that, but he's just got arthritis in his back and his hips. And so that was the first thing I saw. So I quit throwing the Frisbee because I didn't want to hurt his hip anymore. And then, the next thing we know, he starts pooping in his bed. This started about 3 months ago. And about 1 day out of 7, we'll come in there and he'll have pooped in his bed. And it's like he doesn't know it. And that arthritis in his back is giving him a little bit of paralysis in his rear hindquarters. And he's pooped and he doesn't know it. And the other day, the first warm day we had, it was 80 degrees about 2 weeks ago. We do about 1.5 miles walk or ride back here behind my office every day. We do it every day. Rain. We didn't do it today because it was raining so hard. But we got about halfway through the walk and he overheated. He was heaving for air. And if I were to keep walking, he would just keep following me and get worse. So I had to stop and call my wife. I don't normally carry my phone with me when we're walking, but I've started to with him and I asked her to bring the ATV back there, and she had to drive way on back there, and I had to lift him up, put him in the tailgate of it. We drove all the way back home, and I just put a hose on him, cold water and a hose, and he cooled off and he was fine. I thought he was going to die. But he's just getting old, and we get him for a little while. We only get him for a little while, but I love him. Chunk got me through some really, really tough times. And when nobody was there, he was there. He was always there loving me. So I have a real, real connection with Chunk. Now, I love all my dogs, all of them, but Chunk and I are just tight. Chunk and I are just like that. Okay, now that I've said these things about Chunk, everybody has advice to give me on Chunk. Every time I talk about my dogs in a video or they see them, I get 50 comments. I know what I'm doing with my dog. He's on every kind of supplement that he needs. He's on a great diet. My wife actually cooks his food. My wife actually cooks all our dogs' food. She makes it in huge batches and we put it in the refrigerator. They eat very little dry dog food. There's a little in there just to fill them up. But my dogs are very, very healthy. And the best diet a dog can be on is raw meat. That's the best diet you can give them. But I'm like giving them chicken thighs and stuff like that. They'll crunch up those bones. They'll eat everything. And the bones won't get hung in their throat. They'll eat them. And they'll chew them up and they'll eat them. The only bones that get hung in a dog's throat are the cooked bones. But it just made me nervous. I don't, but when we do have raw meat that's stuff that's been in the freezer for a year or whatever, old deer meat or whatever, I'll give it to the dogs raw, thaw it out and give it to them raw. And they love it and they thrive on it. And if you think giving dogs meat that is a little bit bad, I wouldn't give them rotten meat. But dogs will eat rotten meat and they'll be just fine. That you should see what some of the dogs eat. I been in Mexico and spent some time in Nicaragua, and you wouldn't believe what those dogs eat down there. They eat out of the dump, and They eat anything and they survive just fine on it. But yeah, I get all kind of advice on my dogs, and I just want you to know my dogs are just fine. They're just fine. I got 14 years out of a lab, and their average life expectancy is only 10 or 11. If you get 11 years out of a big working dog like that, and he has worked all his life, you're doing really good. And we're at 14. We're at 14 years. So, oh, my heater just came on. I got to turn that off. Man, what am I talking about? I don't even know what I'm talking about. Hope that's not the corona. Hey, Steph, happy Resurrection Day to you. I've heard it said on Good Friday, Jesus wrote the check, and on Sunday, the check cleared. How about that? I know there's people that get freaked out when you talk about Jesus, but don't get freaked out. Let's see. Julie, S828. We only got 10 years out of our last lab. Yep. I think that's about the average lifespan of a 10, 11, 12, somewhere in there. But I don't expect to get 15 out of him. I really don't. And if I do, I'll be happy. And I may cry for 5 or 10 minutes when he goes, but I'm going to move on. He's a dog. I'll love him. And I'll probably spend most of my time consoling my wife. I probably won't have any time to grieve. Toy area, we love Jesus, and that's why some of us are good people. I don't think any of us are good people. I think he's good people. We're good. We're justified because of his goodness, not ours. Okay, let's see. We're at 42 minutes. I don't know what else to say. We talked about Carrie. I saw some people I've been trying to get in touch with on here. I was just bored, just sitting around thinking, hey, it's a good time to do a live one. Let's see. Lotsy Sand. Do I think Bigfoot is worldwide? It looks that way but I haven't heard of any encounters in Africa. None in Africa. I wonder why that is. Maybe there are encounters, but what's my favorite beer, Diane? Guinness. I love dark beers. And people think that dark beers are, I don't know how you drink that. The dark beers are the least strong beers you can drink. They're heavy, but they're not strong. And they're dark beers are delicious with meat, like hamburgers, steaks, pork chops, fish. I like to drink amber beers. Something that has a little more carbonation and maybe a little more hops, fish and pastas, things like that. You know, people drink different wines with different dishes. You can also do the same thing with beers. And too much competition in Africa, right? Potato beer. I've never had any of that. Diane, there's a Guinness factory. Are you in the United States? I thought they only made that in Ireland. You know, Mr. Guinness, someone correct me if I'm wrong, because we have people from Ireland here who would know the history much better than me. But Mr. Guinness started making beer because his kinsmen were all getting drunk on whiskey. It just took it takes a little bit of whiskey to make your spirits really rise to where you're not functional. Beer takes longer. You can drink more of it. You fill up, and you still get your spirits up. So he made Guinness beer to help his countrymen. That's a great story. And I think they signed a 100-year lease on that building for a little bit of money. And I think that lease is still in effect. Mike TD, been to the original in Dublin. Cool. I'd love to go. I'd love to go. Thanks, Sherry's Aquatic of Heaven. I never think to ask people to hit the like button or subscribe. I don't think I've ever asked anyone to do that. I'm not a real good YouTuber. I think you're supposed to do that if you're on YouTube, but I always figure if somebody wants to subscribe, they know how to do that. They can do it. They don't need me. They don't need me asking them to do it. Tommy Raridan, James Gate, 1,000-year lease. That could be true. You've heard the story. Joshua Grove talking about the elementary kids those were actually middle school kids. They're in Northwest Arkansas or Southwest Missouri, and they did do a good job. I actually had one of those kids email me a couple of weeks ago, and he had forgotten which video his story was in. I think he wanted to play it for some of his buddies, and it took a while to find it because I don't know. I can't remember what story is in which video. I have to do these quickly, and I don't keep good records of what stories are in which video. But I found it, and I narrowed it down to 2. I didn't have time to go back and listen to them, and I sent him the links to both of them, and he was real happy. Yeah, Guinness is only 4% alcohol. It's not for lightweights. It's just a good beer. It's just a good beer. If you want to drink a bunch of alcohol, drink some brown whiskey.